Moon in the first house. Moon in Aries, let's go. So, if you've got an Aries moon or moon in the first house, what does this mean? Well, when you were born, perhaps your mom didn't want you to know something. Perhaps she was covering something up and she had a lot of emotional pain. And what happens with people when they're in pain emotionally and sometimes they cannot deal with it throughout their whole life? They retain a lot of innocence, purity, ambition, and optimism, you know? And this is what this moon provides. Basically, just running through life. Everything's fine. Everything's alright. Don't worry about me, everybody. I'm just going to leave the gifts at the door and let you deal with everything. It's like a really volatile moon when you're angry. So even when you're happy, sometimes when you can be happy, people don't get it. Like, people are like, okay, like there is sort of a disconnect there. If you've got a moon in Aries especially, chances are you're going about your day with an angry smile or an anger within you that you don't even recognize. And then sometimes when you want to tell people about it and you want to tell everybody how much you know, how much you feel, people don't think so, or they don't know who you are and what you do and why. Well, I've got a first house moon. It ostracizes you from other people because your emotional equivalent of self is not met. What do I mean by that? Sometimes you can be somebody who's like a pastor. You can be like somebody who's very kind and giving and generous to other people. But perhaps because you haven't met your moon, you haven't met the connection with your mom, you haven't met the connection with this experience yet, there will be something about you that falls short. It's just like falls on its face. So you meet somebody, and for a long time I've had this issue with people, you know, I'd meet somebody and I'd be very kind and very generous with them and very giving, and then at the same time as they see me, they sort of unsee me. You know, there's something in people that can't quite compute this energy yet, because the moon is fresh in Aries, yes, but it also contains in it so much possibility for restructure of other people that it is too much sometimes. Like, we can come into people's lives, first house moon, moon in Aries, it's like we're a baby and we've got a lot of need. Sometimes this moon can be very needy of things and people, but it cannot really express it. So why and how and when and what? Well, we get drunk, or we get possessed, or we get sort of very vulnerable. We say, nobody gives anything about me, nobody cares about me, and it'll come out in a really weird way. Or perhaps we'll be really forgetful. Oh, sorry, I was meant to call you. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right, because I didn't want to deal with you, or didn't want to deal with myself in that situation. Sometimes we can be very strange with confrontation. Oh, did you want me to be at the show? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I was going to come and support you, but I just didn't know you. I didn't know anything. Like, this is the thing about this moon, is it sort of opts out. It's like, I just don't know. I just don't know how to deal with things. I don't know how to deal with other people. And sometimes this moon can be very emotive too, but it can take a lot of pain. It could be like, fuck. You know, say you stub your toe and you could just be like in pain for a long time, but for some reason it's really satisfying just to be that person who swears, or just to be that person who knows a lot, and then I have no idea. Just all of a sudden it's like, I have no idea, like everything's gone, everything gets lost, everything gets misconstrued sometimes. And often in the first house, this person, if you've got a moon in the first house, especially if it's in a sunny sign, so if it's in a masculine sign, like driven by Mercury, like say Gemini, you know, or Leo or something, you know, driven by Pluto, but still a very sunny sign, you can be somebody who's looked towards. Like, people look to you, like it's a dark situation for them. They're feeling a bit confused, they're feeling vulnerable, especially if they're a bit needy of their mum, and then they just look to you and you're like, what? I got nothing for you, man, I'm sorry, like I don't understand what you want, or I don't understand why you single me out. And sometimes you'll find yourself in a really weird possibility where you are driven by something to be there for another person, but you get there and they can't really connect with you energetically or emotionally, but they really want you to. And then you kind of like break loose. You're like, goodness gracious, I didn't know that I couldn't do that. I didn't know that I couldn't be around this person or this people for a long time. And then you'll be like, what the hell is going on? Like, you'll come into an existence where your mum is confused, your dad is maybe abrupt, or something is going on in the household, and then you sort of take it to heart when people abuse each other. In this frequency, you can be very abusive to yourself as well. Like you can work and work and work and work and work and sort of never come home because you're always at work or in the office, or you sort of like putting things away, tidying things up, and you're sort of giving yourself no time until you can stop and realize, goodness gracious, I'm like this, you know, I'm a skeleton, like I haven't been eating, you know, I haven't been meeting the needs of my mom, I haven't called her in days, or I haven't met the woman that I want yet. If you're a guy, I haven't done anything, you know, I've just been running around pushing myself at people, and then when I come back to myself, I don't know who I am, I don't know where I am, I'm not nurtured, and then you can become a little bit of a like I want to say a needy bastard, but sometimes you'll do it with money. Like you'll go and you'll buy something, and it's a lot easier to go and buy something than to commit to some kind of like a sin of needing. And this woman in your life, you know, say if you're a man, perhaps, and if you've got Aries moon or your first house moon, especially Aries moon, because it really depends on the sign it's in the first house, but say the Aries moon, it really wants to be needed and wants to be loved and wants to be cared for in a very standard kind of way, and perhaps people will get gushy around you, like people will get pushy, people will get smooshy, and they get all cushy and they get all slushy and gushy, and then you're just like, what are you? Can't you just be still? Like, do you have to do this now? Do you have to really experience all this trauma now? Can you not just like, look, I know the answer to your story. And that's the thing about this moon, is it just like looks at things like in a bit of a practical way or a cynical way sometimes, like, oh dude, seriously, can't you just freaking let go? Like just let go. And then just like that's the answer to freaking everything, you know, especially if it's the moon in Aries. It's like, dude, just look, just let go, please let go. Like just, have you been connecting to this person? Have you had a hard time trying to reach them? Have you got no freaking sense? Just stop. And that's all like they do. They just go cut. Look, you don't like this, have this. You don't care about this, and have this. And this is very refreshing for new people. Okay, if you've got new people in your life, your Aries moon, first house moon, and you're so freaking standard about things. It's like, yeah. And often you've been through hell and back in your life. Like life will create situations where sometimes you've been put into certain circumstances where you can't get on with people, you can't belong, you've got to change countries, change communities, you've got to change yourself all the time. And you've got to be new. And it's like you're reborn over and over into this fresh new you know? And then there's these people about, and you kind of like, come on, and hurry up. There's like a frequency about this mood, like, have you done this yet? Well, just freaking do it. Let's go. Like, let's go for a ride. It's like you're trying to just live this life to the fullest. And often, especially if you've got an Aries moon, or even a first moon, if it's in a masculine sign, first house moon, this is a very good chance to meet people. Okay, if you've got this responsibility of meeting new people every day, that's great. If you've got any kind of ability to shine in front of people, the nighttime scene, everybody's sorry, everybody's vulnerable, like say you work at a hospital and then you just freaking turn up and everybody's freaking like all smiles. It's really good for professional settings. It's really amazing for any kind of stimulation of other people. It's really incredible for new friends and colleagues. It's really amazing for any kind of like bulletproof type material. Say, you know, you show up and it's like you got the world in your hand. Okay, this is the first house moon. But if you've got problems with your partner, okay, if you've got problems with your kids, if you've got problems with your body where your body won't shut up, like it twitches and you've got a tremor in your body, especially you got any kind of shakes or nervous responses to things that you can't shake, there needs to be change. And sometimes when this moon is in need of change, it will be abrupt. Say you're like this, you're like, you got a little tremor for you, and then you will be in a situation where in public transport, somebody touches you on the shoulder, and then you'll be like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you? What are you doing? Where has your hand been? Yuck, what are you doing? Like, it'll just come up. Like, it'll be a very small thing, but it'll make you incredibly volatile and vulnerable all of a sudden, and you'll want to scream and yell. If you've got this kind of placing, it is a chance that you'll be in a situation where you're needed to do that. So it's like a warlike response to like a fear of not even you, just a fear in general. Like maybe somebody will touch you or sit next to you and you'll feel their frequency and it'll feel dirty and you'll just want to just like shove them off the seat next to you. And sometimes when this moon is in this Mars position, especially in Aries or any kind of strong house, you know, like, or strong sign, any strong house, you know, like 5th house, 11th house. Sometimes you'll be like put into places, okay? Put into places, especially at night, where you're just like, fuck, you know, like you're just like, get off me, you know, and you do this thing and it's like a volatile part of you that just breaks. And it does it at the special time of day or night, and it sort of resets you. And it kind of resets the whole environment. It's like you break things. You just come in to explode, and then you're like, whoa, that was really controversial. And a part of you will just be really reset, and you'll be like, wow, I feel wonderful, I have no idea why. But then you also feel a bit guilty, and maybe that's why. That's what it is about feeling vulnerable, and guilt makes you feel probably like no other, more sense than anything. So if you've ever been guilty about something, it's a very innocent feeling. It's a fine line sometimes between that and like addiction to guilt, like, but sometimes when you feel guilt and it's genuine and it's vulnerable, it's really good. So whatever you do, there's a chance you'll explode at people for no reason, and this is a good thing if you are somebody like a bouncer, okay? If you're a cop, if you're some kind of like a hardcore martial arts instructor, if you're in the military, it's pretty good. But I don't advise you to do this all the time and often. But yes, those like crazy glitches really fix you up, you know? So what to do? Cry. Crying is good. But more for Aries moon, it's best to just like give up sometimes. Give up and feel like, damn, that sucks. And then after a while, you'll feel good. It's like sometimes about knowing that not everything is positive and not trying to find the positive outcome in everything. And sometimes just feeling what it feels like to be sad. Because why? Well, your fascia, your muscular tissue, especially if you're Aries moon, muscular tissue and your fascia connect and combine in a way that brings to you torment if you don't resolve it. So sometimes it can be very like skinny bodies, very skinny bodies, unless you got other placements, very like skinny feelings as well, like say you don't have a lot of maybe skin on your shoulders, or you feel really vulnerable in some way. And this moon, this fascia and this connective tissue in your body, fascia, I like to say fascia, the moon in your body needs to breathe, because it's just how the moon is. This is just how, you know, the natural cycles of the moon are. It's like beyond you, because there's a rock flying out there in space circling the moon and circling the sun. There's a rock flying out there in space, and it's basically telling you what to do, you know, sometimes. And that's what the moon is about. It's about being told what to do by space sometimes, and by the collective conscious and the collective unconscious, and then the fascia and the liquid in your body is just really freaky, because this moon in Aries, specifically in first house moon as well, wants to be in control and wants to be in the know what's going on. Like, what is going on? I want to know. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? Because it knows there's like a sense that we are sort of not ourselves sometimes, and nature kicks in and the moon kicks our butts, you know, and things like that, and we sort of get to be in a certain way of feeling and a mode of thinking, and sometimes it feels like it's all under control by something else or someone else. And this moon is very good at withstanding any kind of pressure from another person to do whatever it doesn't want to do, because it can feel it. You know, other people can't feel it, but first house moon, especially specifically Scorpio first house moon, which is me, when you're in a situation where somebody's looking to you for advice or something, and you know, you can see that they touchy with you, or they want you to do something for them, or they've got some kind of a loony agenda, like they want to touch you because they're emotionally needy, you know, they've got like no mom and they're constantly looking for a mom or something like that. You'll just know it. Like, you'll just know when people are parasites more than other people perhaps. And that's why this placement is exactly what it needs to be for anybody who is a psychic person. In the first house, moon in the first house, anybody who is in the arts, anybody who's kind of just made to be that social presence and no more than that. And it's a very good boundary for people like that know you, but also understand that who you are is not really for them. And though you can have, marriages, strange marriages for first house moon especially, and things that kind of seem almost like a lock and key thing. It's like, okay, well, this is my husband, this is my wife, and that's fine, and la 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 la. Like, it's not really expansive. It's not really expansive into deep longing or deep need, deep wounds, and deep slow turning. It's unless you got like a Venus that's like really weird and Pisces or something, like conjunction with Pluto or something. But there is a chance that you've got like some kind of a marriage proposal or some kind of a marriage energy in you. That's very easy. It's like, okay, let's get married. Okay, well, I get this, you get that, that's fine. I can deal with that. I don't really love you or care about you, but we can make it together. And this person, first house moon, Aries moon, is very good at structuring their life where everybody's happy, but everybody's kind of alone. And everyone's also kind of the same. They want their partner to be kind of the same as them, but at the same time, they're not really vulnerable enough to connect to somebody where like you are the same and you'll always be forever through eternity. So what do you want, Aries moon? What do you want, first house moon? Well, I am a first house moon in Scorpio. I want prosperity for people, and I want freedom, and I want optimism, and I want choice. There's a few things I don't feel like I do, but I may do later, but I'm not sure. But like, say, kids, never really wanted them, never really felt it, ever, at all. So it's like one of those things, like when you are a first house moon, many things will come and many things will go, and eventually you'll find yourself sort of stumbled across something that is cool, and you'll keep it around for a long time, but chances are you will stumble about most of your time, especially if you're Aries moon, stumbling upon and breaking your back maybe for something, and then realizing it wasn't worth it, and doing this over and over and over, slightly to raise the intensity of your emotional states. So they're not always just like, here I go, off to work. There needs to be a flow, there needs to be a connection. So how to raise your emotional states? Sit alone. And if you sit alone, no books, no TV, no smiles, no cell phones, nothing, no props. You sit alone, and then you smile, you laugh, you look at your fingernails, and your hair is fluffy, and then you're just like, shit, like, you'll just get sad, and it will be like no one there, no one else looking at you, nobody else telling you a thing, and it'll just break your heart for no reason. And when you are there, trust it and let it go. Like, if there's a feeling, just trust it if you're alone, and not want to be stimulated all the time. Anyway, thank you very much, Aries moon, first house moon. I've had a blast talking about you. First house moon here in Scorpio. So if you'd like to know more about me, look at the page below. If you'd like to know more about you, look at the page below and book a reading with me. Otherwise, thank you very much for listening. Have a wonderful day.